Arachnids, doppelgangers, and repetition of history are all prevalent in Villeneuve's 2013 film Enemy. Jake Gyllenhaal plays two characters in this mind-bending thriller, Adam Bell and Anthony Clare. Adam is seemingly a modest history professor in Toronto, while Anthony is a small-time actor. The movie starts with Anthony attending a high-class sex club where a woman in heels is about to stomp on a tarantula. This is immediately followed by Adam doing two nearly identical lectures about how dictatorships control their people and how it repeats itself throughout history. Better said, history repeats itself. Though the second time, it appears as though Adam is very much losing interest in his job and perhaps even everyday life. We can also discern this because when his coworker tries to talk movies with Adam, he requests something cheerful, perhaps something to uplift him, and he did seem very much uninterested in conversation with others. Upon his coworker's request, Adam watches Where There Is a Will, There Is a Way. I find the title of this film to have double meaning because it ultimately leads to the inkling of an idea for Adam that there is an escape from his boring, or better said, unsatisfying everyday life. This scene is doubly important for Adam as he discovers a doppelganger of himself in this film. And it is also important for the audience to communicate that his relationship is on the rocks. Before this scene, we had seen that Adam and his girlfriend don't live together, which can be normal for most early relationships. But after Adam stays up to watch this movie instead of going to bed with her and then makes advances on her when he does go to bed, she denies him, possibly indicating a lack of sexual chemistry, which would be, it can kind of lean towards an idea that in an early relationship and a lack of physical wanting for each other, that the relationship is not doing well. Though, extenuating circumstances, both of these things could happen and nothing be wrong, but the movie is kind of leaning towards this direction. Also, the sex that they had previously was edited to appear repetitious rather than emotionally fulfilling, or just fulfilling in general. It is this lack of passion and fulfillment in Adam's life that leads him to seek out Anthony, the doppelganger that he had seen in the film, and tries to find out as much information about Anthony as he can find online. This leads to a conversation over the phone where Adam talks to Anthony's pregnant wife, which proves vital for events that take place towards the end of this film. The phone call also proves to Adam that him and Anthony have identical voices, as Anthony's wife thought she was speaking to Anthony while they were on the phone together. This call also leads to Helen, Anthony's aforementioned wife, accusing Anthony of seeing another woman, one that he had cheated on Helen with previously. This infidelity on behalf of Anthony seems to be a driving factor for Helen seeking out Adam at work.
I think you need to get something to eat. Let's go get something to eat. And then...
I don't want to get anything.
It was a man! It was a man!
From scenes of both Adam and Anthony, we can discern that Adam is much friendlier, less direct, and possibly objectively a better person despite his less than sunny disposition. The insecurity of Helen seeking out Adam seems to take a toll on Anthony, as she had gone to see Adam at his workplace to see if there really was a doppelganger. And it is important to mention that just before she goes to see him, Anthony agreed to meet Adam in a hotel room. In this meeting, Anthony asserts dominance through his more aggressive personality, planting the scenes for a second conflict. From this assertion on Anthony's part, we are led to believe that this is to scare Adam off, but I think this is the beginning of Anthony's plot to take what is Adam's. Another noticeable difference between Adam and Anthony is that Anthony is in a higher economic class than Adam, with a nicer home that is even depicted as a better place to live via the lighting during the scenes at each Gyllenhaal's occupants. This is the beginning of an illustration of one of the points Adam was making during the opening scenes of his lectures.
So in ancient Rome, they gave the people bread and circuses. They kept the populace busy with entertainment, lower education. They limit culture, censor information. And it's important to remember this, that this is a pattern that repeats itself throughout history.
Hey, while we're here, I just want to say thank you for clicking on this video. I really hope you like it. And I love movies. I think you do too. So on that note, why don't you subscribe to the channel? I got a ton more videos like this and ones that I'm going to be making in the future. So let's get back to the show. I find this to be extremely important as the college professor is not rewarded in a society and a small movie actor is. This is very much true in real life, and I feel like Villeneuve is trying to make commentary on this real life occurrence. I would also consider this a hint towards the spider dream sequences that both Adam and Anthony have, having upwards of 3 meanings, which we will cover one of now. In the dual dream sequences between Adam and Anthony, we see them dreaming of a tall spider that is even taller than the buildings in the city. It is lurking, and I believe this is supposed to illustrate the governmental control those in power have in this universe. Anthony is rewarding for appeasing the masses with his performances and keeping them preoccupied. Anthony's social standing is in the higher strata and is communicated not only by his gorgeous home, his lavish diet, or I guess peculiar and expensive diet rather, but also to him attending the private sex clubs, which we now know to associate with ultra-powerful types a la Jeffrey Epstein and the company that he kept. Two additionally important points in the film that are important to keep in mind is the hotel scene, where it's alluded to that Adam and Anthony share even the same scars, and that Adam has a picture in his home where the second person in the photo is torn out, which turns out to be important later on. What is important also to consider is the type of arachnid shown at the club in the very beginning scene, where it was a tarantula, a spider that is known to molt its skin, which plays into the type of plans Anthony has in store for Adam, and also Adam for Anthony. Using his more intense demeanor,
I'm fucking crazy! You brought my wife into this, man!
and acting skills, Anthony forces an ultimatum on Adam where he intends to sleep with Adam's wife, or girlfriend rather, and leave him alone once and for all. Unbeknownst to Anthony, Adam intends to do the very same thing with Anthony's wife. Helen seems to be aware that Adam is not Anthony, but is receptive to the exchange, whereas Adam's girlfriend, Mary, is very much not. When Adam is in Anthony's home, he finds an identical picture to the one torn in his own apartment. It's hard to extrapolate exactly what this means, but I think it actually drops the biggest bombshell of all. Adam and Anthony are personalities of the same person, or symbolize different kind of like ego, id, but the personality types within the same person. It took me some looking into to really get to the bottom of this, so don't feel deflated if you didn't come to the same conclusion yourself. However, this film is supposed to fulfill multiple themes and meanings, this photo in particular to indicate Adam Anthony finding harmony with his wife, or seeking to find harmony with his wife and stop cheating on her with Mary. We can even find clues to this outside of just the photo scene, and that Mary would frequently only visit in the way that a girl with whom you have a relationship that is affair-based would kind of only meeting late at night, not staying together, etc. The car crash scene after a fight breaks out between Anthony and Mary is supposed to indicate that the more selfish version of Gyllenhaal and this affair are being left in the past, while the better version will stay with Helen. I originally thought the spiderwebbing breaks of the car window after the crash were supposed to indicate Anthony being caught in Adam's web, and to an extent, it is, as this version of Gyllenhaal will no longer exist. Where the mind-bending ending comes in is where Adam opens the mail he received acting as Anthony, which is a key to the private sex club that we had seen anyways. And despite seemingly changing, we see Adam take the key and try to make plans to go, kind of trying to pull the wool over Helen's eyes as well in doing so. When he does this, he walks in to see Helen has transformed to a tarantula to symbolize the way Adam now intends to treat her, a sex plaything, much like the tarantula shown at the beginning of the film, that he now has complete control over. This need for control mirrors the lecture of Adam at the beginning, in that human nature causes individuals to seek total control, much like governmental structures. Anthony was an upper-class citizen and is lured in by his sexual desires as a way to control him. And once Adam gets a taste of this life, he is put under its control as well, showing the hierarchical power structures that we face in everyday life to keep people in line. I thought this film was great after watching it twice and having a better grip on some of the symbolism, knowing to look out for spiders, because that was the biggest thing that stuck with me. It took me the longest to understand that both Gyllenhaals are the same person. It's definitely alluded to. The scar thing certainly pointed towards that. But I also like the sexual desires part kind of went right over my head the first time. I was very much lost. But the second time was definitely a better viewing. And now I feel like it's a great film. And I really dig all the stuff that you can dig into in this film. Gyllenhaal's performances are tremendous, and even if you watch it and don't fully understand it, that's one thing to really appreciate from this film, at least on the first go around. But if you haven't seen this and you're watching this video, I think it'll help you enjoy it a little bit more, and I think you'll really like it. And I find it to be proof that Villeneuve is he is great. We know that now, but even 10 years ago, he was making bangers like this. So it's pretty damn cool. I appreciate y'all for joining me on this video. I hope it helps anyone who has watched this film recently. Be sure to subscribe to the channel because I'm going to be doing a ton more videos like this, and I will catch you on the flippity flip. Bye, y'all.